Hi everybody, it's your favorite English teacher here, Amy Joy, and in today's video I want to share with you how positive psychology and expressing gratitude are found in American culture. So let me start with a little story. When I was studying abroad in Madrid, Spain, I had a fantastic Spanish teacher. And at the end of the semester, I wanted to write him a thank you card for his great teaching and just having a great class. So I went to the paper store or the stationery store where they sell school supplies and paper and things like that. So I asked the worker, I asked in Spanish, "Where are your thank you cards?" And they looked at me kind of confused. They didn't know what I said. And so I thought, oh, maybe I used the wrong vocabulary word. So I tried to say it in another way. I said, "Where are your cards that say thank you?" And again, they did not know what I was talking about. And they told me, well, we have cards, but they don't say thank you. So I looked at the cards and I just got a blank card, an empty card, to write my thank you note to my teacher. So on the last day of class, I gave him my thank you card and he looked at me kind of confused. He wasn't really sure why I was giving him a card. And then I realized in that moment that maybe writing a thank you card is an American thing. Maybe this is a cultural thing that I was not aware of. And so ever since that interaction, I have asked my students if they know what thank you cards are, if they write thank you cards, and for the most part, my students do not know what this is. So I'm really excited to share with you today some ways that Americans express gratitude that might be cultural and that you might find helpful in your daily life. So positive psychology is just the scientific study of well-being and happiness, and gratitude means being thankful. And research in positive psychology actually shows us that expressing gratitude to others makes us happier as well as others happier. So this research has become very popular in American culture, and I want to share some ways I have observed expressing gratitude and positive psychology within our personal lives, in business, and in school. So the first thing I'm going to highlight is how I've seen gratitude reflected in our personal lives. So like I mentioned, writing thank you cards is very common in American culture. I have one here that my colleague gave to me because I taught a class for her when she could not teach her own class. So you can see it says thank you right here, and you can get thank you cards at the grocery store or at Target or any kind of common store that you are in. I have another one from my friend. I got her a birthday present and she wrote me a sweet thank you letter. So just know that in American culture, we do write thank you cards, and in another video, I'm actually going to teach you how to write them, but just be aware that it is something we do and it is very common. And just to show you more what I am talking about, I have taken this screenshot from the website PaperSource to show you all of the kinds of options of thank you cards they offer. As you can see, there are a lot of different kinds, a lot of different prints, and a lot of different fonts, and you really can choose any kind of thank you note to fit your occasion. So I just wanted to show this to you to emphasize how frequent and how many different kinds of thank you cards you can find. So another story I have about this is when I turned 7, I had a big birthday party and about 20 kids came to my birthday party, and afterwards my mom, she sat me down and she wrote 20 thank you cards herself. And then I had to handwrite and copy what she wrote and send the thank you notes to my classmates. So you can see that just from a young age, I have been raised to write thank you notes. I don't think every American has that same experience. My mom was a little bit more strict, but it is common, and yeah, it's just kind of good to be aware that we do this. So writing thank you notes is something I grew up with. That is not new. However, recent research in positive psychology has really emphasized that if we express our gratitude, we can increase our happiness. So there are some new ways that people have found to express their gratitude. There are now gratitude journals. There are cell phone apps that you can get to help you track and express your gratitude. And also, I wanted to share this with you. This is my calendar. This is where I write all my to-do lists. I'm still very paper-based, but here you can see it says gratitude, and this is a little place where you can write all the things you're thankful for. So I just like to show this to my students and share all the small ways we see gratitude being emphasized and expressed in American culture and American products. And one other way I see how expressing gratitude and our emotions is found in American culture is how often we say, I love you. Now, if you are not from the US, maybe you've noticed this yourself and you might think, wow, they say I love you a lot. And yeah, I think we do. Every time I am on the phone with my mom or my dad, we end our phone call by saying, love you, bye, and then we hang up the phone. This is so common that it is actually a habit for me, and I have another embarrassing story about this. When I was working as a receptionist, I was on the phone a lot, and I scheduled someone's appointment, and at the end of the phone call, I said, love you, bye, and I hung up the phone. And this was to a customer. This was not to my friend. This was not to my mom or my dad. And then at the end, I just laughed because I told this random person on the phone that I loved them, and that is definitely not appropriate. But it did happen just because of how frequently and how often we end our phone calls with love you, bye. So maybe you've noticed that if you are not from the US. I have taught a lot of students from Asia, and I have been told that a lot of them don't directly say I love you. Maybe they'll express their gratitude by offering someone their favorite meal, or asking if they have eaten, or asking if they are well, but they might not say I love you directly. So that again tends to be maybe an American thing. Let me know if that's common in your culture in the comments below. I would love to hear how you express your appreciation and love for each other. But yeah, I love you. Love you, bye. Super common. Now you might be thinking, okay, Amy Joy, you express your gratitude with your friends and your family, and that makes sense because you guys are very close. You have a close relationship. But you might be surprised to know that positive psychology is also found in American business culture. So let me give you a few examples. So some research in positive psychology suggests that people who are happier are actually better workers and more productive. So with this idea in mind, there have been many books written about how positive psychology can create a better working environment and how having happy employees makes for a better business culture. So recently I was in a bookstore, and I was in the business economics section of the store. And these two books caught my attention. They are titled The Happiness Advantage and Managing for Happiness. And these books teach managers how to create a happy environment for their employees so that their employees can be happier and therefore better workers. Now, you might be thinking this sounds crazy, but I have also actually seen this in real life. Take my husband's work, for example. He works for a tech company, and one day, since we were working from home during COVID, I was listening to his Zoom call, and all of the workers were asked to share something that they appreciated about the other employees. And so everyone was going around and saying what they appreciated about each other. And it was such a nice moment for my husband to be recognized for his hard work, and for everyone else on his team to express their appreciation for one another. And I really got to see this impact of positive psychology in business in real life. And I'm not going to say this is at every company, but I do think positive psychology is slowly going in and trying to help employees be a little bit happier at their jobs. And another way you might see expressing gratitude found in American business is writing thank you notes after an interview. Now, you already know that I love my thank you notes, but you might be surprised to know that we do write thank you notes or thank you emails after interviewing at a company. And I will get into this more in my other video when I teach you how to write a thank you note, but just know and be aware that this is a common practice and we do often write thank you notes after an interview. Okay, so we have seen how positive psychology can impact American behavior in their relationships and also in business and in companies. And now I want to show you a little bit about how positive psychology might be found in education and academia. So the first thing that comes to mind is actually positive psychology courses in higher education. Now, the first time I ever learned about positive psychology was at a presentation at my university about how to be happier. And then later on, I noticed that a lot of schools actually had courses on how to be happier. So take this example from Yale. This course is called The Science of Well-Being, and it is being offered for free on Coursera. So I will put that link below in case you're interested in taking this course on positive psychology. And also, recently during the pandemic, there was actually a special course, a special series of lectures at UC Santa Barbara that focused on positive psychology and helping students get through the difficult time of the pandemic. So on university campuses, positive psychology is pretty popular and it's widely studied, and students tend to like it so that they can also be happier. All right, and by now you might know the last thing I'm going to say about expressing gratitude in education, and that is to write thank you letters to your teachers or a staff member at your school. If you have had a really special teacher or staff member that has impacted your life, please go ahead, write them a thank you card, write them a thank you letter, express your gratitude for their hard work. As a teacher myself, sometimes it can be a little isolating and we might not know the impact that we have on our students unless you tell us. So I can tell you now that your teacher will really appreciate it if you express your gratitude to them. It is not uncommon to write a thank you note. So your teacher wouldn't look at you funny like my Spanish professor did when I was in Spain. So yeah, go ahead, express your gratitude, and you might even feel a little bit happier afterwards. So that's all for today. Also, make sure to give me a little bit of love and gratitude and like this video and subscribe to my channel so I can continue creating content and that more students will see my videos. So thank you for being here. I am grateful for you, and I will see you next time. Bye.